No, seriously, we should be more like you, Mr. Reed. Mr. Reed.
Heretic was not as good as I'd hoped. Not to say that it's bad though, there's a lot I liked, but first, Heretic is about a couple of Mormon girls who become lured into a deadly theological debate with a man who claims to have found the one true religion, and pushes the two girls to question their faith as they fight for their lives and try to escape. Much like the two filmmakers Scott Beck and Brian Woods, I was also raised in a very Christian household, so questioning the nature of religion is a very familiar pastime for me, and I love movies that attempt to be explicitly about that. However, I don't think Heretic succeeds in saying anything really compelling. Perhaps it never intended to in the first place, and that's shame on me for knocking a film for not being what I wanted it to be. But considering the movie does spend so much time of its runtime monologuing and pontificating about religion, it does kind of feel like the movie is trying to say something and not just be a horror/thriller. I still like this movie quite a bit. The craft here is really impressive. This is easily their best movie so far from Beck and Woods. They did 65 and then Haunt before that. I do still recommend Haunt. I think it's a perfect Halloween movie. The cast here is really strong. Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East as these two Mormon girls are really convincing, and they're really well-drawn characters with distinct personalities and quirks that become important as the tension rises. Side note, I also learned the two girls were both raised in the Mormon church, which probably lended to their performances being so convincing. I love the introductory scene where we meet our main characters, and there's a very clear and clever intent to most of the shots. The dialogue too. And I hate to say this, and don't hate me if you disagree, I'm sorry. I felt almost overwritten. Hugh Grant is amazing in this. I would rewatch just to hear some of his line readings, talking about Radiohead, Jar Jar Binks, he meows. It's a real powerhouse performance. He is as charming as, like, you know, a Hugh Grant type at first, but there's a certain secret malevolence behind the smile he wears. The sincerity of his words are hollow. Not in a bad way, but in like a creepy way. I like characters that you'd want to know more about, characters that you'd want to understand. His interrogation of these girls and their faith is interesting, and all three have a great chemistry that thickens the tension at every turn. The first half of this movie is the best half, in my opinion. The secrets Heretic keeps in the back half are maybe just not as mind-blowing as I wanted them to be, because while every line in the first half is very intentional, it doesn't seem to matter all that much in the end. The movie is about these three characters, each with their own relationship to faith and religion, and as the cat and mouse game between Mr. Reed and the two girls begins to become deadly, all of the theological debates and the time spent listening to Mr. Reed go on and on like an atheist in a frat house, it's not that I hated any of it. In fact, it was pretty compelling, but it doesn't really go anywhere as interesting in the second half as the first half would have you believe. Like, you know, spoilers for Heretic really quick. What I was hoping for personally when we introduced the prophet was that Mr. Reed did in fact find a one true religion, and I was wanting that one true religion to be something supernatural. That's totally my bad movie. I have a big imagination, dude, and I projected that onto the movie. I wanted some gnarly, nasty, satanic stuff deep down in this basement, but Mr. Reed says the one true religion is just control, and that's not really that new of a concept. His group of prophets in the cages was upsetting and gross, but I just felt like it was missing some thematic bite to what the rest of the movie was proclaiming. I think what I'm saying is, in the end, Mr. Reed has nothing to show the girls that would sway them from their faith. Not necessarily because they are just that pure of heart or something, but because Mr. Reed is just basically a crazy guy. The prophet isn't resurrected, it's a trick. Nothing supernatural happens that the girls can't explain. I understand Mr. Reed's philosophy of control, I think, and I think his point is that his control over these women makes him feel as close to God or to being a god than their religion ever could. I don't know, I'm still parceling out how I feel, so maybe my thoughts are a little premature. I'll update if I like it more on a rewatch or something. There is imagery from Heretic I won't forget anytime soon, but nothing I'd never forget, you know? Heretic is a good example of my expectations tripping me up a little bit and not getting what I wanted. I think the movie is well crafted, and like I said, it's easily Beck and Woods' best feature yet, and I hope A24 stays in their corner and keeps working with them. They are really creative as filmmakers, and they have a lot of ideas ideas. If you look at their 3 big features so far, they are vastly different movies. Although I guess Haunt and Heretic are both horror movies, but very different approaches to the genre. They are sharpening their tools even more with this one, and I look forward to whatever they do next. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye. Also, Topher Grace is in this movie for like 5 fucking seconds. All right, whatever. I like Topher Grace. I think he's good. I wish he were in this more. I don't know why he has such a tiny part, but I guess I don't know what else he would do in it. So, and my AC is kicking on. All right, time to end this. I will see you guys later. Bye.